Hello, everyone. I'm Michelle Melville-Kashon from Sexual Health Alliance. I am the Community Development Coordinator, and today I am interviewing Shan Boodram. She is going to be one of our presenters at the Sexuality Business Summit coming up in this September of 2024. So I will go ahead and give Shan a brief introduction. Shan Boodram is the internet's most sought-after relationship and sex educator with over 100 million YouTube views. Shan is a certified sexologist with an MS in psychology from ASU. She is currently pursuing her PsyD from California Southern University. Shan is a soon to be graduate of the Sexual Health Alliance's Sexuality Educator Certification Program. She has had mainstream coverage across all major media networks, including The Today Show, ABC, Good Morning America, The Talk, The Real, and The View. Welcome, Shan.
Thank you so much for having me. And I am thrilled to be having this conversation with you and looking forward to meeting all the students.
Yes, it's going to be such a fun event. So, like I mentioned, the Sexuality Business Summit is coming up in September, and it's the perfect event for anybody working in this industry, or even anybody who wants to start working in this industry. There's going to be so much great information, so many great presenters. So, Shan is going to be speaking about the business side of working in sexual health and creating your services ecosystem and defining the value of each offering. So, Shan, can you tell us just a little bit more about what you're going to be talking about?
Yeah, I started my work as a sex educator in 2009 when my book Laid came out. And it wasn't until 2018 that I was able to make a full-time career out of being a public-facing sex and relationship educator. That's a lot of years of trial and error and not really figuring out and finding my footing. So I'm so passionate about getting people from what they know to what they know is in their bank account. And that gap to me is about knowing how to build your business, how to present yourself, and how to leverage your differentiators. And that goes across each and every part of your ecosystem, which we talked about. So instead of looking at it like I have a one-to-one practice, or I do brand work, or I have a mailing list, or I consult at different companies, you can look at it instead of this diverse ecosystem in the various ways that people license out your expertise, and then figuring out how you balance all these together to create a very lucrative and stable career, which are two words I would use to describe my work today.
Yes, I love that so much. And as I mentioned in your intro, you've been on major media outlets. So you have kind of mastered like this pattern of being able to leverage yourself and your skills and abilities to be profitable.
100%. Like I really, I am so passionate about this topic, and I am so passionate about educating sex educators. I was actually having a conversation with a really well-known online sex educator just before this, who was saying to me one of their pain points in that they wanted advice on something, and when they asked their professional colleagues, people who work in the clinical space, they don't have the answers. And then when they ask other influencers, they don't have the answers either. So there's this unique place that we sit as experts who also want to influence and educate on in an asynchronous public forum. So I think that those are unique answers and unique tools. And again, things that I figured out through trial and error. And I'm really excited to spill all the tea, give all the secrets up. Because if we're not going to do this if we're not going to leverage each other and help each other, I don't know where else we can go for help.
Yeah, exactly. And this industry is so unique. It's not like any other industry out there, because there's influencers out there for other things, makeup, beauty products, those kinds of things. But it's like this industry, there's so many like regulations and different things that you have to take into consideration. It can really be challenging for somebody who's trying to start their business. So I think this whole event is going to be so impactful for the people who attend.
Absolutely. And not just that, it's constantly changing. So you
Yeah.
could figure out a method, you can feel like, okay, I got this going. And then all of a sudden, your bread and butter, well, the bread and the butter has dried up and that no longer exists. And so you have to, again, rely on the other parts of your business to keep you afloat while you reconfigure to the new rules that have been put into place. So, again, that's why diversification is so important, I think, in this field, because not only is it very niche, but it's in a niche space that is constantly under attack.
Exactly. Yeah, very well said. So I wanted to ask you, what would be your number one tip for someone who is starting a business in the sexual wellness industry or the sexuality industry? What advice would you give?
I would say lean into your differentiators. I think that when we think about what professionalism looks like, there's a particular like code, there's a map that's in place. And so, or when we think about success online, we're like, follow these trends, do these things, use these best practices. I just haven't found that to be true or the difference makers for me. So I could have showed up on this Zoom with like a white button-up shirt with a little bit of makeup on, because that's what the code of ethics has been. But generally for me, what I have found has been impactful in terms of my success has not been what the status quo things are. It's leaning into what makes me different and putting my emphasis and my effort there. So really empowering people to bring their unique story, their unique voice, their unique perspective, their unique look, their unique way of looking at the world and looking at things. And especially, I think, as people who are educated can really attest to this. When you listen to other educators and experts speak on various podcasts or outlets, you can always tell the ones who are citing the good work that we have all read thousands of times over in our various texts and courses. And like, okay, well, that's great because they're bringing the information that is common knowledge to people in our practice to the forefront. But then there are people who take it and put their own spin on it. They
Yeah.
take that standard information you've heard a million times over, and because of their unique vantage and their differentiators, they make it something fresh, something alive. Those are the people who I think have longevity in the space, and that's what I would really encourage people to focus on.
Yes. Oh, I love that so much. It's like making the material accessible so people aren't just reading the same research, that they could have found online. So making it fun and accessible and also being your authentic self and not showing up as a cookie cutter version of what people would expect or what people see all the time. I think that is so great.
Especially in the land of AI, what if you're just going to be
Mm.
saying what ChatGPT would have said? You're going to find yourself out of work just like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, very well said. All right. So before we go, I wanted to mention one more thing. So you are a soon to be graduate of Sexual Health Alliance, our Sexuality Educator Certification Program. So I wanted to ask you, what do you think the benefit is in getting certified as a sex educator?
It's made all the difference in my life. I constantly get asked from peers, mostly in the influencing space, like, I actually have to end this call and go do schoolwork after this. Like, why are
Yeah.
you always in school? Why do you always have like, what is up with this like obsession with education? I've just seen a direct correlation between the education that I get and the opportunities that are available to me. Similarly to how online growth, there's a direct correlation between how much my numbers grow, my influence grows, and the kinds of opportunities that are available to me. And the truth is, there's opportunities available for people who are highly educated and those who are highly influential, e.g., they have lots of numbers and all those other social things behind them. So if you have both, again, when your goal is stability and your goal is financial diversity, you have to play in both fields. So it's been hugely important to me, and I'm so grateful to the Sexual Health Alliance program in particular because going to get your ASEC certification is just a lot. And sometimes in the education process, figuring out how to do the thing is actually more challenging than the material itself. Like
Yes.
figuring
Yes.
out all of the stipulations and the rules and the regulations and the hoops and the hurdles, like that actually is the bulk of the work because we love learning about intimacy. We love learning about pleasure. We love learning about sexual health. And so that almost feels like the non-work part. The actual work is all the logistics. So I'm so grateful to this program for taking care of all the things that I just really do not want to put my brain on so I can focus on where I'm best and where I actually feel joy and pleasure. And that's really,
Yes. I love that. And we love having you as a student. We are so thankful that you chose our program. So thank you for that. That means a lot.
well, thank you for having me. And I look forward to chatting with you again in September.
Yes, everybody, the event takes place on September 14th and 15th. It's a weekend event. If you're looking for CEs, there are CEs available. I mean, this is the most fun way to get your CEs. So please join us. You can register online at sexualhealthalliance.com. There's going to be a link in the description below so you can check that out. And once again, thank you so much, Shan.
Thank you, Michelle. See you soon. Bye.
Yes, see you soon.